Yeah, hello friends. Welcome back to the course, and we are on the week 3 currently. And today we are going to complete the functions concept, that is declaring and invoking functions and return statements and scope in JavaScript, and that is week 3. So once this is done, we'll move on to the week 4 syllabus, that is arrays and objects. And after that, week 5 and week 6 are completely of solving beginner friendly problems, and we'll try to solve all these problems. Once these are done, you will be in a stage to understand and write a simple and small programs in the JavaScript, and you'll able to um, write your own logic in using these concepts what I have taught you. So with this, you will be in a good knowledge, good understandable knowledge, so that you can explain others as well based on the syllabus. So without any delay, let's get started. So now we are learning the functions, right? Before starting and explaining regarding the functions properly, I just want to tell you a small story so that you can understand this functions concept very much better. So the stories goes like this. Let's say you and your friend are going out, and you both went out on some party or anything like kind of that, and suddenly your phone got dropped from your hand and it display got damaged. So what you do in that case, you just go to a repair shop, and you get your mobile repaired and get back your mobile. If you're normally a mobile repair personally, you can repair at your own, that is a secondary question. But general people, if their display gets damaged, they go to the mobile shop and get their mobile display replaced. So just remember this small story, and I will explain you functions in very better manner. Let's say here there are three important points, that is mobile shop, your mobile, and you. Consider this as a mobile shop as a function. It's in general, its function is nothing but it's like a, simply I'm telling, it's just like a small company, a small shop where you delegate your work to that function or shop. They do your work on behalf of you, and they return something to you. That is what the function is in simple, that's it. So here mobile shop is a function, and your mobile is an input to that function. That means you give your mobile to them, and you other person the main program. That means you stand here, that is doing the main program code. So if I explain you precisely this code, what actually is that, this function, that is mobile shop function. This is, first of all, we'll declare the function in this way, function, and the with the function keyword and the name of the function, and with the bracket, that is any parameters that we can pass will be saved here, like whatever you want to receive, just mention it here, and with two curly braces, here one and here one. And within this piece, curly braces, what are the code you write, this code will be executed whenever you want. Like this is like a small bucket kind of thing. Whenever you want, it won't be run directly. If you need only the when you call the function, then only the function code will be executed. So here the mobile shop is there. So this function we have created it. This from mobile shop function is taking parameter mobile, this which means your phone got damaged. So this function, this mobile shop is taking your mobile, damaged mobile, that is your, let's say your mobile phone is Redmi. So here you're calling the function mobile shop Redmi, with the brackets, in the brackets you're passing Redmi, which means you're passing your mobile Redmi to the mobile shop, mobile shop, that is mobile shop function. So this function gets called here. The program, from here the program goes here, and the first what I'm doing is console.log. First I'm removed, first the what the person will do, the technician, he just removes the broken display from your mobile, your mobile, that is Redmi mobile. First it removes that, and this, what is this means is that it's a new line character. Once this is logged, it goes to the new line. So broken display, first he removes the broken display from your mobile, then what he does is repairing, like he just repairs and arranges a new display on that, and he does all this in this step. After that, repair gets done. Once the repair is done, he will return your mobile as a in a repaired state. So that is what I am returning. Return here, what it means is that every function will have a return statement. Okay, it is not compulsory to return surely. Yes, in some cases void can be, like anything cannot be returned. I will show you that program, that function as well, but just remember we can return anything from the function as well. So here mobile shop is returning your mobile in a repaired state. So Redmi will be in a repaired state after these steps are completed. So your mobile gets repaired and returned to your hand. Let's say this is you, means let's say your name is Sharan. So you receive your mobile phone in your hand, that is the variable that I have declared here is Sharan hand. So once you console log, once you, 1 minute, let me run and show you. If you console log the Sharan hand, you will have a Redmi mobile repaired in your hand. If I run this, You can see it. First, remove broken display from Redmi. First, the technician removes the broken display. Then he repairs the Redmi by replacing it with a new display. Then repair gets done. Finally, your Redmi repaired mobile will be returned into your hand. That is in the variable share and hand, and you will print it. You will just I'm just consoling it. That's it. That is what the flow is. I hope you got a good understanding of function, how actually the function works, and why we use the functions. First of all, if I want to tell you why we use the functions in general, see, if you write this kind of code, it is just like everything gets compiled at one time, but functions cannot be called directly until unless you call this function won't be called. So this function is like a lock, you can say. These functions are like a lock for your code. This brackets acts as a lock, and when you call this function, then only this function code, internal code, what the code is there in the function, that will be executed. Without calling the function, the code won't be executed by the compiler directly. So that is what the main important benefit of using the functions. And we can even keep a function more organized and more modular if we use the functions. Whenever I can just tell you that whenever you write the code, try to write the code in most of the time in the functions manner, like use a functions to write your code, so that you can keep your code more organized. You'll get to know actually like what is this function is doing, and if you write on the code, just give it a brief name so that anybody, even a layman can, if he sees your code, he should be able to understand what your function does. That is how you should name your variables and function names, and it will be more modular if you use the functions. So that is what my intention. So I hope you are able to create a function and return anything from the function. So I will show you the scopes in the JavaScript now. I think you understood better using this mobile shop story. So we'll move on to the scopes now. What scopes actually means in JavaScript is that what I'm doing here is that I'm created a variable function first of all, that is print numbers. Here I'm not returning anything, so this is a void function, which means it does not return anything outside of the function. So here in the global scope, first of all we have two scopes, that is global scope and the local scope. Global scope is nothing but which is outside of the function, that is completely known as a global scope. The way like these things, these are all in the global scope. Which is within the scope, which is within the function, that is called as a local scope, which means these variables here, these are declared within the function, right? So these are called the local scope, which are declared within the function. So the things which are in the global scope can be accessed through the entire program, like in the any function can access it, any program, the complete program can access the global scope variables. But whereas the local scope variables, these variables have existence between these curly brackets only. After coming out of these curly brackets, these variables cannot be accessed. I hope you are getting my point. If I like, first of all, I will remove this function and I will run the program. You'll just see console.log a. I'm doing a log printing of a value. A is present in the local scope and in the global scope as well. But in general, like we are using the global scope variable a, right? So only the global scope value will be printed, but not the local scope, because we cannot access the local scope from the outside. Since this a is only limited to this function, only this function can use this a variable, not the outside functions, the outside program. So if I run this program, the output will be 10. See, because I cannot access this 10, this 100, this a value, I can only access this a. Now if I call this function, this is how we call the functions. If I call this function, then the values that are present in the local scope, that is a100 and b200, will be consoled to the output panel. See, the 100 and 200 are been printed. Like using the print number functions, I have called these functions, and this function has executed this internal code, this complete code. So, and let's say if there is no a value here, and if I try to access a, I can access this a value from the global scope, which means I have declared here, right, global scope. Since I already told global scope variables can be accessed through the entire program, so this function can also access this a value. Now if I print it, the output will be 10, 10, 200. 10, 10, 200, that is what it is, because here we don't have the a value, right? So it took the a value from the global scope and printed it within the function. So that is what. Now if we try to, I will show you that scenario also. If I try to access this b, this b scope is within this function only, we cannot access outside this function. But if I try to access that variable outside, let's say b, I get an error. Now just I'll remove this function. I'll try to access this b outside, I get an error. That is reference error. B is not defined because B is within this scope, not the outside scope. So that is what actually the scopes in JavaScript means. I hope you all got a good understanding of what is functions, how to declare a function, how to invoke. Invoke is nothing but calling a function. This is how we call the functions. Print numbers. You can create different functions based on your requirement, and this is how we invoke the function. And passing parameters, this is how we pass the parameters. Here you are seeing, right, mobile shop Redmi. I'm passing the parameter, sorry, argument to see here, passing parameters. Like here we are passing the like here what is there is known as an argument. Here what is there is known as a parameter. The functions parameters are defined here, and values we pass from to the function is known as an arguments. These are the arguments, these are the parameters. So passing parameters are also done. And return statement, this is what the return statement, how we return from a function. We can return anything, like we can return numbers as well, strings as well, anything we can return from the function. Once the complete function is done, we can return anything, but we cannot write any code after the function, because once the return statement is executed, the control comes out of the function to the main program. Means the control comes to here, this line, and returning values from the function, this is done. And the variable scope, that is local and the global scope, this is also done. So with this video we have completed this complete week function section, that is 3 and 4 part. So with this we are completed with the week 3 syllabus. So tomorrow, like tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we'll try to complete that. We'll try to focus on the week 4 syllabus, that is arrays and objects. Okay, thank you all.